we are live.
Hello. Welcome back. Woo. Episode number 2. Yay. Yeah.
Ari in the house.
Hey, we're starting off to a great start, I think.
We have a lot on our minds. Like, so much so that Valerie had to make a list.
Yes. This episode is a bunch of jumbled up random things, which I love. I mean, this is what I really wanted to do when I first thought of us doing this, or when I really pictured it, was just bringing up whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Like, just bring up everything.
That's how we talk.
Yeah, and that's the essence of what we want the podcast to be, is like talking about trauma, but also talking about everything there is to talk about. Pop culture, life, horrible people, funny people, like laugh at the ridiculousness of life.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what this episode's gonna be about. I'm excited.
So excited. Let's just start with, how are you feeling today?
Oh, great start, sister. Great start. Well, doctor, I'm feeling like a hoe. No, I'm kidding. I feel, wow, I haven't asked myself that today, so I feel focused. I'd say that's, come on, Heather. Our freaking, my sister's dog is like a little gremlin. She's a little rat, and she's just, I don't know, breaking shit. So we're gonna fucking...
She wants her attention, so she just, like, finds any way to get it. And usually it's getting into trouble.
She's like, hear me now. She's like, if you're not gonna give it to me.
So if you hear some random rustling, it's because it's Heather. And, you know, one day when we got sponsors, we can afford a little puppy nanny. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, you're feeling focused.
Yeah, I just feel focused, in everything that I want to do. Like, I finally feel like, so I've been growing, right? So basically,
it's crazy, dude.
What's crazy?
Like how quick you're changing, like every day. I feel like
I'm a new version of myself, isn't
yeah
it? Because I'm finding new versions of myself, and I know what it is. I finally have my basic needs met for my own mental health, to where now I can be an extension of Valerie. I don't have to be every day waking up wondering, what am I doing, healing all these really dark memories and things like that. Like, I've done so much of the work for like a year and a half, and I've just grown so much, and I've healed so much. So now I really get to just find new levels of confidence within me, and like, yeah, I feel powerful. I just feel so powerful, which is funny because I've never felt powerful until I realized all the things I don't have power in. Because when you really can just focus all of your energy into what you do have control over, you feel so powerful. And that's just how I feel right now. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, exactly who I need to be. I've healed so much, and yeah, so I feel really focused on what my purpose is, I feel like, which is helping others, healing others, spreading information out there about emotions mainly, I feel like is my biggest purpose. So yeah, I feel really fulfilled already.
What's going on in your life that's making this happen?
Making me grow? Well, it's hard to like pinpoint one thing, right? But I've always had this one thing in mind as to what it is. Basically, it's 2021 right now. I got out of a really emotionally abusive relationship in 2020, so a year and a half ago. And basically I just hit rock bottom. And when you hit rock bottom, like the only way is up. And I just like had enough of all my insecurities, of all the things, my anxieties controlling me. I had enough. And like there's like a certain power you get when you just don't give a fuck anymore, because you just feel like you're at the bottom I don't know, you just reach rock bottom and then you just feel like, fuck everything then, you know? And that just skyrocketed me into loving myself. I mean, loving yourself is respecting yourself. And when you go so long not respecting yourself and you see where it gets you, I had been in that relationship for 3 years, and when I saw where it got me to such a like sad, unfulfilled place, like, yeah, it just made me like not give a fuck about anything but myself. I was like, fuck this, like I can't do this anymore. Like I can't not focus on all the things I've been avoiding, like my insecurities, my inner demons, my anxieties, traumas, which is just like old hard memories. Like I'm done. Like I'm just gonna put the work in finally, because I deserve it, and I deserve to not be in pain and like excruciating mental pain every day I wake up. Like I deserve to feel fulfilled and care about myself and respect myself. So that skyrocketed me into where I am now. And like, oh my gosh, like I am first of all so proud of myself, and also like just can't believe what version of myself I am now. I can't believe it. And I just feel lucky because at the end of the day, I didn't have control over my awareness, because many people struggle. Many people reach rock bottom. But the fact that I was able to reach a level of awareness where I knew what I needed to do in order to get to where I am now, I mean, that was gifted to me. That, like, you know, it just takes a certain level of something that's outside of yourself for you to have awareness. And I think awareness of yourself is just the biggest tool to help you grow. That's it. You know, you just have to be aware.
Yeah, I think you have a really good point. Awareness is like a blessing and a curse. But there's really nothing you can do about it. Once you have it, you can't get rid of it. So you might as well work on yourself and work on just being able to hone in on your power, you know, and use it as a superpower. Because a lot of people live their whole life in denial, blind to like their blind spot. That's why they're called blind spots.
Yeah, like, but it's not even up to them. And that's why my whole point was like hone in on it. But like, you also, if you're given it, like if you're even given that that level of awareness, like that's the only way like to get yourself out of like terrible mental struggles.
So you think some people don't have it?
No, not at all.
And you think it's a gift?
Yeah.
From who?
From God. And the universe and whatever you believe in. I mean,
do you think you could help
spirit.
People gain awareness? I think that's
Definitely.
What therapy is, right?
Oh, definitely. You can help people gain awareness, but you can also, people have free will. There's only so much you can do by explaining to people. Real awareness comes from wisdom you find by yourself, and wisdom usually doesn't come easily. It comes from hardships. So I think, yeah, it's at different points in your life where you're given awareness. But I'm just grateful I've gotten it to a point where I'm this super confident, funny, kind, like free woman. Like I'm just so grateful for that, because I know, of course, any woman would want that. Every woman wants that, right? Yeah. It's just like, but how do you get there? It's like, girl,
it's funny you should ask.
Thank you for, like, Lord, thank you for giving me whatever it was I needed for me to get here, you know?
It takes a lot of hard work, though. So the awareness helps you be aware of, like, what you need to work on. And then that's where the hard work starts. So I'm kind of right now in limbo on a lot of things. So I've just kind of been trusting my intuition and researching, like, things that I feel like I'm more curious about. And me and you talk about shadow work all the time. And that's like one of the things that I know I need to actively work on. And I've known about that type of work for a long time, but it's really hard to get motivated to do all that, because what you're essentially doing is opening up like ancient wounds from when you were a kid and like reliving them so that you're able to process them. And it usually explains a lot of the patterns that you do unconsciously. So right now that's kind of like what I've been researching and putting my energy towards. And something that I found really interesting when I was looking through this was like, I started learning more about the 7 chakras. I noticed that there's a lot of similarities between the chakras and Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Wow, okay.
And what I think is most interesting is that obviously one came before the other.
Yeah. Which one? And also, you should explain what that is.
So Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory of human motivation and published.
Wait. So it's a theory on human motivation. So
Yeah.
So what motivates us as people? Yeah. Okay.
And it's in the shape of a pyramid, and it's split up into 5 sections. And the very bottom one, basically...
The bottom tier.
The bottom tier is what you need the most. You have to move up in order to hit the rest of the needs, if that makes sense.
Okay. So what is at the top of the pyramid?
The top is self-actualization.
What does that mean?
Which is basically, if we're comparing it to the 7 chakras, it would be like the crown chakra, which would be like thinking more about morality, more abstract thought, more philosophical things, problem solving, creativity. What I would describe it as is like the luxury problems, you know? If all your other needs are met and you have like the luxury to worry about morality and creativity, then you've hit, you know, self-actualization on Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
The very low one is physical needs, like safety, shelter, food, and water, which is like, that's the basics, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, it's employment, resources, and health. And after that, it's love and belonging, friendship and intimacy. And from there, esteem, respect, recognition, strength, and freedom. And at the very top, self-actualization.
Wow.
What's interesting is that this pyramid is based on a paper that was published in 1943, but it's so similar to the 7 chakras in a lot of ways. The 7 chakras go back to like 500 BC in India. So it's like really, really old compared to the hierarchy of needs. And what I'm trying to do here is compare and contrast Western ideologies to like Eastern, you know, where India is known for like Buddhism and Hinduism and stuff like that.
Right. So similar, but comes from different because it comes from different parts of the world.
Some people argue that Maslow actually ripped this off and made it more digestible for the Western culture.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a white man ripped off brown people, but you know, yeah. So wouldn't be surprised. Not shocked people believe that.
and it's similar, but Maslow definitely trims all the spiritual aspects of everything, which is what was something that I barely learned. That like you can work on your needs and stuff like that, but if you don't meet those that are in the spiritual realm, you can find yourself in a lot of patterns that you're not aware of because you're not even opening your mind to where it's coming from, you know?
Yes. So if you just focus on
the physical world.
Yes. So I have a friend, my best friend, she and I talk about this a lot. I mean, she's an Aquarius, so we're down for a debate, let me tell you. Like, we're here to debate. Like, and I love that about her. It's like, it's just lovely to be able to actually talk about your beliefs with someone and actually see it from every angle and not be afraid to say, like, honestly, why you believe something. And, like, she was having a hard time understanding, or not understanding, but, like, she just wasn't fully convinced on, like, zodiac signs, which literally, if you're spiritual, you most likely are into zodiac stuff. So it goes hand in hand together, you know.
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny because zodiac signs are actually just science. Like, it's how where the planets were when you were born. And all that energy made you into who you are. So it made you like the blueprint. So it's just funny because like that's just science. Your intuition. Yeah, it has nothing to do with spirituality. And I basically just explained to her like that we're all aware that we are a spirit and a body. We're a soul. You have a soul. Everyone understands you have a soul. That's just plainly spiritual if you believe you have a soul. And most people do. And if you're choosing to ignore that part of yourself, you're ignoring a whole other aspect of life. You're ignoring this whole other truth. Because let's say there's logic, there's the physical realm. Wait, what would it be then? So it would be, we have to be spiritual. We have to be aware of the physical realm. And we also have to be logical, like we use science and stuff. All these things to navigate life, right?
Where would emotions fit there?
Oh, and emotions. No, emotions.
Physical, emotional, and what was the other one?
Spiritual comes from your soul, from just knowing you have a soul. We all know that. I mean, we all know we have an energy within us that, I mean, even if you're in a room and you feel like you walk in and you're like, oh, the vibes are off. That's spiritual. That's spiritual. And even the people who discredit spirituality and zodiac signs the most we'll walk into a room and be like, the vibes are off. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Because you're feeling the energy, and that's spiritual. Like, and that's all really zodiac signs are the energy that was put into you because of the planet, where the planets were the moment you were born. That's really all it is. So
yeah, so bringing that all back to the chakras,
yeah,
that is definitely why I've invested more time in researching them, because even though I feel like I have grown a lot, there's clearly a lot that I haven't healed, and I didn't know where to start. So I'm like, okay, well, let's look into this, you know? And I had a roommate back in the day in college who was really into chakra healing, and she was into a lot of crystals and a lot of spiritual stuff like that. At the time, like, I was open to it, but I didn't take it as serious. But I do remember that she would always tell me that I needed to heal my throat chakra, because she thought that I was very kind of guarded, and like it was hard for me to communicate. And so a lot of times when I did start exploring with crystals and stuff, I would focus on throat chakra. But recently, I realized that from a YouTuber, her name is Christina Lopez. She's amazing, and that's her name on YouTube. She explains that the root chakra is actually the most important chakra to heal when you first start, because it's the first chakra that develops, because it's located on your body. Each chakra is located on a different part of your body, and the root is the very lowest one, and it's literally on your bum. Okay. And then the rest are like, they go up from there. But that, you know, if you study how humans develop, they develop from the bum, you know, and so it just makes sense. Now, the root chakra is responsible for survival, grounding, stability, comfort, and safety. Because you're a tiny little group of cells, you know, and you're developing into this being, but that's the only thing that your body is really concerned with, you know, being safe, being stable, comforted, and just like, that's how you know a baby is healthy, if you're able to provide them with those things. But the root chakra, you know, if it's not developing the way it should, it could end up being too open or too closed, and that's when you have like issues. Once you heal the root chakra, then every other chakra is a lot easier to access and just like heal. Okay. So basically what I'm saying is like,
it's all in my ass.
Literally.
All my issues come from my ass.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Will you re-explain to me exactly how that would transform? Like if that, like, so you say you're unhealed, that chakra is unhealed. So what would be the healed version?
Okay. Well, the unhealed version would be when you're grown into a home that's like not safe. And just not only in the physical ways, like there's not enough food, water, or maybe you're homeless and don't have a place to live.
But how does that develop within you? Because, you know, like your throat chakra, I know, comes out in like sense of like you have a hard time speaking up and stuff like that. So how would that affect you?
So I think it manifests itself as anxiety. Okay. Like you're an anxious person. You doubt yourself. You don't feel safe in your body.
I mean, that's constant worry. Yeah. Over seemingly nothing is anxiety. Yeah. So if you don't feel safe, oh, that's true though. Like people who have anxiety attacks and panic attacks, it's just this huge, overwhelming feeling of not being safe.
And not being grounded, which is a huge part of the root chakra. And that's why any grounding techniques is like amazing for the root chakra. Like sitting in grass, you know, sitting outside and feeling the air, and like everything else is rooted from that chakra. What other ways that you can heal it? She said that eating red foods, because the color of it is red. So each chakra is also a different color.
Oh, so each level has a different color associated with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
color is energy. Is that why?
I'm not too sure. But that was one of the facts that I remembered because I thought it was really interesting. A lot of ways to heal the root chakra would be to do a lot of inner child work, because they're tied together, right?
Right, because when you're a child, I mean, developing, you need to feel safe. That's like the number one thing. Yeah. Because I think I got this from Brene Brown, who's this wonderful, wonderful healing being.
Expert. She's a lot of things.
She's a lot of things. That's why it's like hard to put. But she got her doctorate and does research on vulnerability, shame, and happiness. What I mean, like, what is it that the happiest people are doing? Which is just so incredibly interesting to me. Like, she does the research and then she just tells you about it. Like, that is, I need to repeat her name so that you guys can like look into her if you really are interested. Her name is Brené Brown, and her first name is spelled Brene, and she has a podcast.
Yes, Queen. Unlocking Us.
It's called Unlocking Us. So yeah, first step, it's like, go straight into your childhood, bitch. And most often than not, everyone's trauma is rooted in not feeling safe.
And that's why that chakra is so necessary before you do anything else, you know, because then, you know, the third eye is a popular one. It helps you see beyond the physical realm. Yeah. But again, if you open that chakra when you haven't even healed your root chakra, it could be dangerous and mental health wise, like, which I
feel don't like even understand the physical realm.
Exactly. Let's start there.
Yeah. And that's really scary to me that people are doing that, because,
well, I think everyone just is doing their best, because I mean I didn't know.
I always need to remind myself of that. People are just trying their best. And when people think of like chakras, they always go first to the third eye.
Yeah. And it's like, I was like, oh, I want to be psychic.
Of course. You're like, if I'm psychic, I'll know every reason why I'm an anxious person and have mental health issues.
Until you only see the negative things with your third eye. The third eye is meant to show you the truth. Yeah. But if you're not healed, then is it the truth? You know, it's being distorted.
Let's talk. Oh yeah, it's being distorted. Baby, you nailed it. Yeah, like, I mean, depression is the greatest example of that. Depression, people who have come out of it have said it's all about perception. So people who are deeply depressed, they truly believe everything they're telling themselves. Yeah. Everything that they're telling themselves. Like, it's all the negative things they're telling themselves. So that's your truth. If you're unlocking your third eye, that's your truth.
It's like, dangerous. And I was doing third eye work when I was working at a psych hospital, and it did not go well, you know.
Oh no.
My moderate depression that I've had my whole life plunged into like a really, really bad place, just like going day in, day out, and like getting all those energies. Yeah. Because everyone comes in with such heavy energy there. Yeah. It's like a very intense form of suffering that a lot of people aren't exposed to. And at the same time, I'm over here, you know, trying to open my third eye, and it really depressed me, you know, to see how much people actually suffer. Yeah.
Because you're just surrounded by people who literally feel the same way you do about life, because you're all depressed.
And I would say it's not at all like the same. Like, the way you think when you're depressed, like, that's one way, but having like a psychotic break, like, that's completely different. Still suffering, but like, for me, the things that really marked me as a person was seeing people not be in their reality and like believe what they were imagining in their head. You know, like the amount of times that I was almost assaulted, every time I can like tell
violently?
You. Yeah. Like, I never got hit, thank God. But there was times where I was really close, and you could just see in their eyes, like, they're not there anymore. It's just glossed over. And I just can't even imagine, not only for them who are going through that, but like their family, having to see their loved one go through something like that. And I would see them visit, you know, while I was working there. And I just always thought, like, man, I can't even imagine how sad it is for you to come see your daughter or your sister, and they're, like, not well, you know?
They're not who you know they are. That's so scary to think about. Seeing someone and you know they're just, like, on another fucking level of reality. Yeah. It's scary. Will you please take the baby? She's being so annoying. She's making too much noise that's distracting me, and I don't know if it's catching me. I just, like, slinged her.
What else did you have on your list to talk about? Well...
Okay. Are you done?
Yeah, I feel like we were just checking in, right?
Yeah, we're kind of just talking about everything. This podcast is really just gonna be whatever we believe in. We're very spiritual. I think a lot of people are now, and I love to see that. So, or at least that's my perception and my projection of the world. Yeah. A lot of people from my generation, Gen Z, they fucking love learning about spirituality and stuff. So, yeah, I really hope that some of that resonated with you guys.
I barely started doing shadow work.
Right. Yeah. So basically, like, my beautiful sis, is just starting the journey that I feel like I started a year and a half ago. Like, it just feels so similar because we both got out of relationships. It's just like this huge shift, and you're like in a transitional period. You're rebirthing. It's
called rebirthing for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it hurts like a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
But you get a whole new life at the other end. So
yes.
It's just so worth it.
It all leads to a more fulfilling life. And what more could you ask for, you know?
Period.
So thank you for mentioning that. That's super interesting. It helped me so much. Great place to start. So really proud of you.
Thank you. That's hot.
So I have on my list. Let's talk about, since we're already in the spiritual realm, do I have ADHD or am I just in Gemini? Honestly.
I've been wanting so bad to talk about ADHD.
Oh yeah.
Because I've seen on TikTok some girls saying that they thought that they had ADHD because they were diagnosed with it at an early age. And then later they found out that it was actually complex PTSD.
Oh. I don't know anything about that.
Okay, so I only know the basics. I'm not licensed. I'm not, I have a bachelor's degree.
Let's make that very clear to our audience. We are not licensed.
No. Don't take our advice. This is for entertainment.
Don't listen to anything we say, ever.
This is for entertainment purposes only. But PTSD is something that is more generally known about because a lot of, veterans go through it. And I like that as an example for it because veterans have a very specific trauma. They can point the finger at what exactly is troubling them, and they usually have like flashbacks that are very specific to a certain situation. Whereas complex PTSD is where you're traumatized and re-traumatized so often as a child that there's not one event that you can point to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how does that translate to ADHD?
Because a lot of times, that's why you have to see a psychiatrist in order to be diagnosed with ADHD because they have to rule out mental illness. It could be so many things,
Oh, wow. And I'm actually getting tested for that. So
right.
We're going to have a chat.
Yeah. I didn't know that complex PTSD had so much in common with ADHD. Like the symptoms of it, like not being able to focus.
Oh, wow.
Not being able to sleep.
So now it's between, do I have complex PTSD, ADHD, or am I just a Gemini?
And hey,
this is fun.
You're all three, let me tell you.
Oh, why not all of them? I'm all of it. I'm everything.
Just kidding. I'm not licensed. I'm not diagnosing you. I would say that growing up, we did go through a lot, and there was just a lot of trauma there, a lot of abuse. So I would not be surprised. I sometimes relate to a lot of symptoms that go hand in hand with like borderline personality disorder. And I've heard that a lot of people with BPD have complex PTSD as well.
Yeah.
So
it's really complex. Because that's definitely a huge thing I've really, really learned is that how complex we can be as people. Like, damn, it's a lot. And that's why it's so hard to heal. So,
there's so many components to it. It could be so many things at once or, what's important though is the fact that, I feel like the more I learn about these things, the more I'm able to normalize my own feelings when they come up and just like realizing that being triggered is normal. Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes the word trigger has become so used that people kind of don't take it as seriously. But but because it isn't that rare,
Yeah, it's not rare, and when you react, you snap at someone, that's being triggered. Yeah. So I see why people blur the line, but like what would be the biggest difference you think between getting triggered and just like kind of just reacting to something and like being upset over something?
No, I think being triggered is the same as reacting.
Same as reacting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Responding is what's different. When you learn to cope with your triggers, then you learn to respond rather than to react. Oh, okay. And it just makes your life a lot more peaceful.
Okay, so really, It's just about responding to your triggers, responding to your reaction to things.
Yeah.
Because we all come from different areas of trauma and insecurity and anxieties. Mm-hmm. So, my triggers are very different from your triggers.
Yeah.
And you just have to learn when you're being, when those insecurities and anxieties specific to you are being triggered in you in order to respond in a healthy way.
Yeah. And to self-soothe at the end of the day, because a lot of times, me included, I feel like we were raised by people who didn't really know how to cope with their own emotions, and it was hard for them to teach us how to cope with ours.
Yeah, there was a lot of neglect there.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to deal with it for themselves, so they didn't tell us at all how to deal with it. And of course no one taught them, but that's what we're doing, breaking the cycle and just trying to really understand what's going on while it's happening, because that's the other part. Like, you can learn logically, like, when I'm triggered I act like this, but when you're actually in the moment triggered, it's really hard to reel it back and to just like not react. Yeah, because you just see red. Yeah, it can be, it's really hard.
Unsafe again.
Stop. Go away, please. Stop. Come here. She's literally biting my skin. Like, I'm not a chicken skin. Oh, okay. Also, I just want to mention that the reason I said, am I just a Gemini, is because Geminis can't focus. It's a thing. We just have such quick thoughts and can jump to things really quickly and just like process things quickly, be over it quickly, move on quickly. So it's like, that's also like, you can't seem to focus on one thing. But okay. There's no cockiness like a guy playing Guitar Hero who thinks he's good and all you can hear are the clicking sounds. But that level of cockiness, man, wow. I've never seen anything like it. On God, I've never seen anything like it. The confidence in a boy who thinks he's the shit playing expert level. He thinks he's so cool. All I can hear is the click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Oh my gosh, so funny. Bro, you're not playing the guitar. Let's just put it there, okay?
With that being said, I never got to that level.
Oh, that too. Get away from me.
Come here, honey.
And she took out her blanket for I don't know what reason.
I love how that was a bullet point in your notes.
Yeah, that was something I just wanted to mention. Literally. And there's gonna be a lot of those for me, honestly. Just Valerie's random opinions about things. I wake up and I think this type of shit, like, all the time. And I love it. It makes my life colorful. Anyway, next bullet point is, I honestly think we should talk about being bi.
Lately, we've been talking a lot about our sexuality and just, like, where we stand on all this.
Sexuality. Ooh.
Lately, what we've been talking about a lot is bi visibility. We've been getting into it about that a lot. And how, like, I think it's more prominent than being gay and lesbian.
I agree.
But not enough people recognize it. Because it's so easy to, like, shut off that side of yourself if you have, like, internal homophobia,
Yeah, I think, like you said, like, there's more people who are bi than just gay. Like, there's no, like, people really like to invalidate the bi experience by saying that, oh, but you're really just gay. You don't really like both. And which one do you like more? No, it's like, that's why I always say everyone is gay. Everyone is gay. You're telling me women are really open to accepting their queerness and saying that they like both, but men, no, they're all straight. Like, most of them are just straight. No, I'm pretty sure they just can't admit it to themselves. Yeah. Because women are run by the moon and men are run by the sun. So women are run by their emotions. Can you hear her on the mic?
I think so.
That's so annoying, Heather. She was getting really annoyed that we weren't paying attention solely to her. So she's just making all this noise and, like, biting things and had to get her zoomies out. Is you finished? Okay, cool. I know exactly what I was talking about. I was talking about
bi visibility.
Yes, but also I was specifically talking about how I think everyone's gay, but why is it that men have such a hard time to admit it and women don't? Women are run by the moon, which is the biggest representation of emotion. So women are run by emotion. So we need our emotional needs met, and that's why for women, the most attractive thing they could ever find in someone that they want to be their partner is emotional maturity. It just makes so much sense, right?
Yeah.
for men, they're run by the sun, which runs the ego. So that's what I've learned. Come on, women are run by emotion and are more attracted to emotional maturity. And men clearly have a problem with fighting their ego day in, day out, okay? We all know this. Come on. So it's fine if you don't want to believe it that way. That's fine. But, so they're run by their ego. And their ego is telling them that that's wrong. To be queer is wrong. Mm-hmm. To be feminine is wrong.
Yeah.
Men are at the top of the totem pole, right? Mm-hmm. So, of course, they're gonna not want to be anything like queer people and feminine people, or anything like a woman. No. Mm. Whereas women are out here, like, begging to not be emotionally neglected. And men can't give them that. They don't give them the emotional, what would you say? The emotional...
Intimacy
that women need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why women are really more open to being queer. And I just gotta say, like, I don't think any of my friends are straight. All of them like girls. And I'm talking about my girlfriends. Mm-hmm. All of them like girls.
What I see it as is, like, we're all opening our mind to the idea that sexual orientation is fluid, mm-hmm. but it's become very apparent that it's easier for women to step into that than mm-hmm. men. It's just still really embarrassing for men to be seen as feminine. And it's really sad. Because a lot of things that are, like, crucial for your well-being, like being in touch with your feelings, is seen as feminine, you know?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Do I wish if I could say one thing to men? It's if you're so scared of being vulnerable and emotional, isn't that the harder thing? And doesn't that make you stronger of a person? Mm-hmm. Being vulnerable is hard for all of us.
Mm-hmm. That's why women end up being stronger in the long run.
Yeah.
Because not only do we have to go through physical pain that men don't have to go through, but we have to really hone into using our vulnerability as a strength. And we just learned to do that because it's what we were made to do.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we had no other option.
Exactly.
We have to survive in this fucking world. Mm-hmm. I have to be able to voice myself. We all have mm-hmm. that mentality, that toxic masculinity mentality, mm-hmm. and that sexist mentality. We all have it because we all grew up in the same fucking world, right?
Yeah.
Men have had the power since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And do you want to explain what you meant by physical pain? Like, why you think, even just the fact that, like, women, we go through, like, this painful experience of giving birth and having cramps, and, like, how do you think that makes you stronger?
Because I believe that every type of suffering that exists, the sole purpose of it is to make you stronger. And mm-hmm. so if we were to compare whether or not women have more adversity than men, I think, at least in the United States, I would say it's pretty apparent that women are scared to walk to their car at night, things that men don't even think about, you know? Mm-hmm. So...
Why don't you walk around at night and just listen to music? It's such a vibe. It's such a vibe. Why haven't you tried it out? And you just look at them like... Bro, I'm a woman. Let's start there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, don't even get me started. And on, like, if you're a black woman, it's different. Exactly. If you're a white woman, it's different.
Oh, there's, like...
If you're an indigenous woman, it's different.
Yeah.
It's just...
There's an infinite amount of intersectionalities. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't say that men face more adversity than women.
No.
Even though men do have suffering, and not being able to tap into their emotions is a type of suffering.
Oh, it's the worst kind of suffering.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, not gonna say that because women are literally assaulted and killed and violently raped and assaulted. I mean, for the purpose of life is to develop relationships and develop your soul and how to coexist and mm-hmm. and accept yourself and your emotions and everything in your relationships. So, I mean, for this life, men not being able to process their emotions is really, like, detrimental, and, like, they're suffering. Like, they're not able to grow at all. Mm-hmm. They're not able to grow at all. It's so sad.
I think the conditions aren't made for men to be able to grow.
I agree. I agree, but also, like, a big part of why, or another reason, I think, is men know they have this power in this world. And if they give that up, like, if basically this world is run by men, the only way we can fix that is if men change each other's beliefs. But they know they're at the top of the hierarchy, so they're not going to do that.
They're not motivated to change
the
status quo because they're benefiting from it.
Yeah, because they're benefiting from it. So they're not targeted. You know, they're not belittled just for being men.
When it comes to just even physical pain that women have to endure, like, it still has the purpose of making you stronger. And so women are so resilient because we've had to be.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And then we
think about that. Just like, because we've had to be, and men are sitting comfortably. That comfortability leads to no change and no growth, you know? So yeah, we have to develop ourselves more, you know, and we are growing because of how much negative focus is put on us. So for me, more specifically about how pain helps women in the long run, like literally physical pain, is that uncomfortability brings out more uncomfortability. So if you feel uncomfortable in your body, you're gonna look outside of yourself and change the things that are making you uncomfortable more. You're gonna notice more of the things that you need to change in your life. Like, you're just not gonna put up with as much shit if you weren't in pain. You know? So basically what I'm trying to say is that you have to be uncomfortable in order to change.
You have to be uncomfortable in order to have the motivation to change. And that's why a lot of addicts don't change, because they're being enabled by those around them. They always have money for the next hit. It's not until they can't physically do it anymore, they hit rock bottom, that they're motivated enough to change. And that's just the same for everything.
Until, like, we have to.
Until we have to.
Which is why a lot of times people have midlife crisis, quarter life crisis. I mean, yeah, when I first started my journey, when I first got out of that relationship, it did feel like a crisis. Like, it felt like, oh my gosh, like, I need to change everything about what I'm doing. Yeah.
I've been feeling that too. My partner of 5 years and I broke up at the end of March. We're in May now, so it's been a couple months. And I feel the same way. I feel like I'm just, like, really honing in on what went wrong and just, like, what I brought to the table and how I can, like, fix those things. Because at the end of the day, I may get married one day, I may not. But one thing's for sure is I'm gonna live with myself for the rest of my life. So I better start getting comfortable with it, you know?
Yeah.
I better start making friends with myself.
Yeah. You have to be okay being by yourself. A lot of people say you are your own worst enemy, but I like to say I am my own biggest strength. Like, you are the only person that can motivate you and put you in that, wherever you want to be in life. You are. So put all that energy into you, you know?
Which is why I'm so excited about our podcast. Like, I'm putting my energy into something that I believe in. Yeah. And, you know, it's scary. And I never do scary things.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just proud of us. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Let's talk about how scary it is to do this.
It's scary. I mean, I can hardly order a meal without feeling self-conscious. It's getting a lot better.
That's good.
But I feel like this is exactly what I need to push myself and to essentially just get to know myself, you know?
Yeah. What you really believe in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Getting down to those beliefs that are just chilling there in my system, a lot of which don't serve me anymore.
Absolutely
because they were
not.
built
Absolutely
during
not.
a time where I didn't feel safe and I was scared and I just wanted to survive.
Oh, yeah, all these beliefs that were fear-based.
Fear-based, survival mode, fight or flight.
Now it's all love-based. Yeah. We're trying to do things out of love and focus on the light that exists within us. That's, if you empower that light, you're going to get a lot more done than just being demeaning to yourself and focus on all the things that you don't have figured out, or the things you feel like you can't do. You have to empower the pureness that we have within us, because we all have it. I mean, at the end of the day, we all just want to be loved and known that we're cared about and that we're valued, and that comes from within us too. You have that power to give that to yourself. And I am proof of it, because I know I get it for myself, and that's something I never believed I could have. And I have it now, and it's changed my life. I mean, literally from the inside out, it has changed my life. Like,
and it's changing my life just because it's like, it's inspirational to be there by your side, just knowing how hard it's been for you and how hard it is every day still, but how far you've come, you know?
Thank you. Like, yeah. I'm really glad that it's not in vain, everything I went through. Yeah. So it is, I agree, it's scary, this podcast, starting this.
Being bad at it, like being willing to be bad at it is scary, because I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, I don't want to put it out, blah, blah, blah. But look, we're doing the best we can, and it's okay if we do it wrong a few times. No one starts at the top. You know, everyone who's found success started somewhere, and this is where we're starting, so. Yeah,
they started somewhere, and they started being nervous just how we are, and being like, do I even have anything good to say? You know, that's what I really feel. But then I always reach the conclusion of, yes, I have many things I'd like to say, and I enjoy expressing my beliefs. So I just love doing this. It's so fulfilling creatively and emotionally, and I just love talking. That's really what it is. I just fucking love talking. So but yeah, what else am I afraid of? I'm actually most afraid of letting myself down, because I just want to make sure that I am able to give it all I've got. Yeah. I think that's what failure with this podcast would be for me. It's just not being able to be myself, or me not being able to believe in myself enough to do it the way I want to. But I'm finding out that I am enough, and I do believe in myself, so I'm really grateful that I do believe in myself. Like,
and it's just also a constant reminder that we're not in control of the outcome. Like, this is what we are bringing to the table, and whatever happens is not in our control. So yeah, it's really not worth wasting any time thinking about it, you know? Yeah, because the outcome for me, a fear is like being obsessed with likes or views or subscriptions, whatever it is. Because I know how toxic it can get, you know?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, likes produce serotonin. So when you don't receive those likes, it produces the opposite, which is like, oh, am I not good enough? And that's why it's better to just keep that shit in neutral. Yeah. It doesn't lead me here nor there. It doesn't lead me to think more positively of myself or more negatively of myself. And that's why you have to be confident in who you are. You have to be assertive in who you are. Like, know who you are. That's really why you have to be able to know who you are. So nothing sways you. You know, not any external force or any shallow thing like likes. No. Because that's not why we like ourselves. Why do you like yourself? I like myself because of the way I talk to cashiers, and the patience I have for people, and patience I have for myself, and the compassion I have for myself. Why do you like yourself?
I like myself for a lot of reasons, but I think my favorite thing is how good of a listener I can be. It just comes natural to me, and it's really helped me get to know people in a different way. Because I'm one of those people that, like, if I meet someone on the bus and we start talking, like, they'll tell me their life story. Like, I just attract that, you know? And I like that about myself. I like that I have the power to make people feel heard, which I think is something that many people struggle with. And just being in social work, it's something that really does improve my job performance, you know? Because even if you're doing customer service, if you're not good at listening, you know, you're going to have a lot of difficulty. In any job, you're going to be working with people, you know?
Listening is just as important as being listened to, which I feel like most people focus on being listened to, but never listen. So that's really good. That's a great quality, because you're right. It's so important to be able to listen to people and try to understand what they're really telling you.
Which is why I love literature and like really deep movies and stuff like that, because I feel like that's where I feel at home, analyzing, observing.
Me too.
Trying to understand.
I love analyzing.
Yeah.
That's why I watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Right.
Yeah.
And you would think, oh, that's such a shallow show. No. People come with so much baggage and shit.
The
and, like,
tea is hot.
Yes. In the first episode, you already know, like, who has daddy issues and, like, oh, you were neglected. You need a lot of attention, don't you?
Who's a pick-me girl? Who's there and actually is confident, and then that girl inspires you, and and it's just, it's not mean-spirited the way we do it. It's just like, girl, you have daddy issues, I have daddy issues too. Period.
I'm the first to tell you.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in this noggin.
I'm the first to tell you. I understand, you know? I feel you, girl. I get it. Before we go, I just want to ask you guys a question that really was so interesting to me. And it was just nice to think about. And I didn't get an answer from myself right away. And that's when you know you're really digging deep. Because it takes time. It takes patience to really figure some shit out sometimes. How you really feel about things. So the question is, I got this from a TikTok that has a journal prompt. It was just random. But it said, what is something you like about yourself that you wish other people noticed more? For me, my answer would be, I wish the people around me would see more and appreciate more how good of a listener I am. Because maybe it just happens to do with the fact that, like, I'm proud of myself for how much I've grown, and noticing that, yeah, before I wasn't a good listener maybe, and the fact that, like, I'm a Gemini, so I'm really fast and quick and, like, want to jump to the next thing, but I found a balance of, like, listening to others and wanting to be listened to. Like, I really found the balance of being able to do both. I value both a lot, and I wish people would tell me that more often than, hey, you look super cool today. I'm like, yes, thank you so much. Like, you know, I'm a humble queen. No, I'm joking. Bowl. Yeah, why are you surprised? I bring it to you every bowl. But, yeah.
I wish people would notice my sense of humor more, but I don't think that's necessarily anybody's fault. I think it takes me a while to warm up and be able to, like, really be myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really hate being taken so seriously, you know?
Okay.
Like, I love being able to joke and, like, poke fun at each other.
Yeah. I feel like it's the vice versa for us then, because I'd say, yeah, like, I always get complimented on how funny I am, but no one notices that I'm actually very deep and well-spoken and listen. I listen to everyone, so
yeah, it's the opposite.
Yeah, but that's why we balance each other out. Let's hear it.
That's our brand.
But we're growing, and we're gonna grow into those things. Yeah, and
especially with this, you know, we're putting our energy and our intentions into something positive, and that can only bring us good things, you know. It's really crazy.
I feel like I'm giving and receiving all at once when we're filming. So yeah.
So thank you, beautiful soul, for joining us. I hope that some of it resonated with you.
And please keep up with us. Follow my Instagram. My personal Instagram is VXLERYQ. It's just basically Valerie Q. And then we have our business Instagram, which is Bitches with Intellect, and it's literally just no spaces, no added anything, no periods, no drama. I am a mother, but just Bitches with Intellect. Just type that in. Thank you guys.
Thank you for taking the time to listen. I really appreciate you.
For real. And you could be doing anything right now. Oh my gosh, you could be going to Yogurtland. You could be watching Drag Race, doing anything, and you're listening to us. So
appreciate it.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.